everybody. I know I just posted a video earlier today. It's feast or famine with me, apparently. Let's see if I can change my laptop view a little bit. You know, I probably will still continue with my plan to decorate my little wooden screen back there. But you know what? I'm in the corner of the spare bedroom in a small house. So, congratulations. You get to see the bed, and we might be visited by one of 3 cats at some point during some of my videos. I just got back from a CT scan of my foot and wanted to document something, I guess, that I've noticed before with previous CT scans and maybe see if you've had a similar experience or sensation. Just as background, in March of 2019, I broke the crap out of my right foot. There was no alcohol involved, and I have been told on a few occasions since then that if I had been completely hammered, that I probably wouldn't have injured myself so badly. So just to kind of give you an idea of what happened, imagine my foot or my hand, my right hand is my right foot. So the toe bones actually do go all the way to the middle of the foot. So when I fell, for the first metatarsal, the big toe, that was a fracture. The second and third were both broken into 3 pieces each. And the fourth was it was a single break, but it was a clean break. And the 5th one didn't break. This fall was complicated because it was a Lisfranc fracture, which I don't remember the fall itself, which is probably a good thing. But from what I understand, it occurs once in a while. Usually if your foot is bent like the wrong way when you fall or injure yourself. If I remember, the way the orthopedic surgeon explained it to me is basically I tore all of the ligaments connecting the outer half of my foot to my body. So it was just kind of floating out there in space. So the surgeon had to go in and do, after 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whenever the swelling went down enough, he installed permanent hardware, took some bone from my ankle and some bone marrow, there we go, from my heel and put it in there for a bone fusion and something else. Did a few different things. About a year later, it was bothering me again, so I went in just for a follow-up. And the fusion didn't take, and I had broken screws. So I had a second surgery. Same thing, except this time he had to drill out the old hardware in order to put the new hardware in, new bone. What did he do? He did bone fusion, permanent hardware, and bone graft. It was an attempt to try and fuse the bones, some of them that had broken. Anyway, sorry for the circular storytelling there. So, long story short, I have already had 3 foot surgeries. We already know from the x-rays that the hardware is broken. Again, I have 2 broken screws in my foot, and the bone fusion hasn't taken, at least as far as the surgeon can tell from the x-rays that he's been taking regularly. So I went in for a CT scan. I see the surgeon again next week to see if he's going to make a decision at that point. If, first of all, the best case scenario is that the bone fusion is finally starting to take, that it was just really slow, and that the bone is forming around the broken hardware inside my foot. Because if the bone forms around it, then as I walk, it's not digging into my foot and tearing tissues and so on. So that's the best case scenario. Second best case scenario is that he will do a 4th foot surgery to try and actually repair the damage. I guess the third best scenario is I just deal with it for the rest of my life and recognize that I have broken hardware in my foot. It doesn't hurt just sitting here, but if I walk for a long distance or if I'm on my feet for any extended period of time, if I wear shoes, I don't think I've really worn real shoes since 2019, since I first broke my foot. The absolute worst case scenario, if he doesn't feel that I'm a good candidate for a 4th foot surgery, then I get a permanent brace that I have to wear for the rest of my life. So that's the background story. Anyway, I went in for a CT scan of the foot today, And I noticed something that I've noticed before, and I want to see if any of the rest of you have experienced something similar. I got into the CT room and assumed the position with my foot on the pillow to go into the big donut thingy for the scan itself. And you have to sit as close to perfectly still as possible as you go through these the machines, because it basically takes a series of pictures that when I go in and see the surgeon, he can use the scroll on his mouse button to zoom in or zoom out or look at a different angle. It's a 3D image. It's really cool. But I could tell which piece of my foot it was scanning at any given time, because you know how when you get those eye ticks or eye twitches, how that muscular twitching feels? That's the sensation in the muscles in my foot as it would the scan would go through the different segments of my foot. So I want to know if any of the rest of you have experienced something like that. It's also possible that I'm just a very strange person. It's definitely, I'm familiar with the way energy feels. I am a Reiki master. I haven't done anything with it for a while, or for quite some time. I have a lot of ground to regain to get back to where I was before life took over and the bad shit happened. And instead of staying in the good place, I went to the bad place, and I'm coming back. Anyway, from that time in my life, even though my conscious brain has forgotten the information, or a lot of the information, I still have the attunements. So the Reiki energy will turn on just by itself randomly. And usually I know that that's my guides kind of being like the Kool-Aid man busting through the wall and saying, you need some healing right now. So I just put my hands on my legs or my stomach or my head or whatever needs help. So it's a different feeling of energy. This is more like just a muscular thing, and maybe I'm just sensitive enough that I noticed it. But let me know. Have you ever been through something similar and experienced something like that? I had another story I was going to tell, but that's gone. I have to get back to work anyway. Talk to you later. Bye.